Welcome to Pitchside, where we look at the essential tools of sports photography. Today, the camera. A miraculous invention that can capture an entire match in stunning detail, except of course the important bit you actually needed. Sports photography is the noble art of standing in the edge of a field, pointing a black plastic rectangle at strangers, running in circles, and hoping that something interesting happens. The most important tool in this process, apart from knees that haven't given up on you yet, is the camera. A magical device that can capture a split second in time while also reliably missing every single important moment. A camera is basically a box with a hole in it. Light goes in through the hole, bounces around, and then somehow becomes a photo. Nobody really knows how. Scientists pretend to understand, but if you've ever opened a RAW file and tried to explain white balance, you know it's mostly witchcraft. Back in the old days, cameras used film. That's like Instagram filters, but irreversible and smellier. Now we use digital cameras, which are like film cameras, but heavier, more expensive, and constantly asking for firmware updates at the exact moment a penalty kick is about to happen. The first question beginners ask is, should I get a DSLR or a mirrorless camera? And the answer, very simple. Whichever one you don't buy is secretly better. DSLRs use mirrors, which is a system invented in the 1800s and kept alive by nostalgia and Canon's marketing department. They are big, heavy, and they sound like a typewriter whenever you press that shutter, which is great if you want every nearby animal to flee in terror. Mirrorless cameras don't have mirrors, which makes them lighter, smaller, and prone to overheating the second you point them at anything moving faster than a snail. The viewfinder is electronic, meaning you get to see exactly what your photo will look like, which is useful, unless the screen freezes mid-shot, and then you end up photographing a ghost version of reality. The truth is, whichever one you'll buy, you'll spend the rest of your career telling people why it was the wrong choice. Cameras come in different sensor sizes. The most famous is full frame, which sounds impressive, like full fat milk or full English breakfast. It makes beginners believe that they're getting the real camera experience. And then there's crop sensor, also known as APS-C, which is basically a full frame camera that's been on a diet. It gives you extra reach on your lenses, which is helpful in sports photography. Unless you accidentally stand too close and you end up photographing someone's pores in 8K detail. And then there's micro four thirds sensors, which are like fun-sized candy bars. Technically the same thing, but nobody ever truly happy about it. In short, full frame makes you poor, crop sensor makes you insecure, and micro four thirds, well, makes you invisible at camera clubs. Advertisers love megapixels, 12, 24, 48, 100, as if the number alone makes your photos better, but spoiler, it doesn't. Nobody ever got a Pulitzer because their camera had just enough megapixels. More megapixels to let you crop your photos, which is useful if you're bad at framing shots. So all of us. But they also create giant files, which means your memory cards fill up faster than your will to live during extra time. So how many do you need? Enough. If your camera has more megapixels than your TV has pixels, you're fine. Unless you plan on printing billboards the size of an aircraft carrier, in which case, maybe your cousin's Sunday League match doesn't need it. Every beginner is told to master the exposure triangle: shutter speed, aperture, and ISO. It sounds simple. It isn't. Shutter speed controls how long your camera looks at the action. Fast shutter, frozen athlete. Slow shutter, abstract art. Accidentally leave it too slow and you'll invent a new genre called blurry disappointment. Aperture controls how much light gets in. Big aperture number equals small hole. Small aperture number equals big hole. Nobody understands why. It's like golf scoring, but more cruel. ISO controls how sensitive the sensor is. Low ISO, clean photo. High ISO, photo looks like it was taken on a potato. Your job as a sports photographer is to juggle these three while crouching in the mud, holding the lens a size of a baby giraffe and trying not to fall over. So very easy. Modern cameras have advanced autofocus systems with hundreds of focus points, face detection, eye detection, even animal detection, which is why at the decisive moment, they will focus on the referee's bald head instead of the winning goal. You can change focus modes, single point, continuous, dynamic zone, 3D tracking, but whichever you choose, your camera will interpret it as guess wildly and ruin the shot. Burst mode lets you fire off 20 frames per second because if you take enough photos, statistically one of them has to be good. It's like playing the lottery but with storage problems. The downside is sorting through 4,000 nearly identical pictures later, each one showing the exact same player's leg moving half an inch. This is called workflow. It's also called hell. So that's the camera, a lying box of broken promises that costs more than your rent. But in the hands of a sports photographer, it becomes a tool, not for capturing truth, but for capturing a split second of chaos that looks, for once, intentional. In the end, it doesn't matter if your camera is a DSLR, mirrorless, crop, full frame. What matters is pressing the button at the right time and then pretending the blurry mess that came out of it was a creative decision. Next time on Pitchside, lenses, or why that tube of glass costs the same as a family car. See you then.